Hi, this is Ted. I thought it would be a good idea to review my video of my first bikepacking trip. It was a trip to Half Moon Bay from Fremont, California and back. I wanted to go over the lessons that I learned on this, and the first and probably most important one was the importance of going with experienced people. This helps in many ways, and in my particular case it helped with planning reservations, knowing who to call when coming up with reservations or the campsite, etc., etc. Also answering my questions in terms of what type of gear to bring. As you can see here, I had to outfit my bike with various types of bags, which brings up another lesson I learned. As you can see here, we have three totally different types of bikes. Mine was the road bike without any eyelets for racks or panniers, whereas my friends, they had panniers, or in one case a cargo bike meant for carrying stuff. They each had their benefits and drawbacks, but they all worked fine. The point is, the bike you currently have may be good enough. You don't need to buy a brand new bike to go on your first bikepacking trip. You may have to do a lot of trial and error to figure out how to get the stuff on there. You can see the videos listed in my description for this video about how I set up my bicycle, and you might learn some things from that. I won't go into too much detail, but my bike has a triple chain ring and the gearing turned out to be fine. I had a 1128 cassette in the back and a 30 to 50 chain ring in front. It turned out to be perfect. And here I'm showing some pictures of another thing I learned. I looked at some ways to mount my smartphone, and I found that simply putting it in my pocket was easier to access with one hand. Oftentimes we'd be riding and needed to grab the phone, take a picture while riding, and put it back. And with this type of setup where there's a mount, it's virtually impossible to do it with one hand. So I simply removed it and used my pockets. As I said, my setup worked great. You can see those videos in the description. The total weight for my setup was less than 40 pounds. It was about 38-ish pounds. The bike alone is about 18, 19 pounds. So I was able to bring everything I needed for an overnight stay without a lot of weight. So you may not need a very burly touring bike to do something like this. Of course, I had a lot of lightweight gear, lightweight sleeping bag, lightweight tent, but it just gives you an idea of what you might need for an overnight stay. One thing I learned that I need to change is the seat bag that I was using had some sway in it. This was particularly noticed when I was out of the saddle climbing, or gusts from close vehicles when riding on an area where there wasn't much of a shoulder. I'm going to try another approach to secure the seat bag, because the bag itself was able to hold quite a bit of stuff, but it is a bit of a hassle to get stuff in and out of the bag with the seat bag compared to my friends who had panniers or backpacks. The pannier in particular was nice in that my friend could just reach down, get something, pull it out quickly, whereas for me I'd have to dig down to wherever the stuff was in a very tightly packed seat bag. It wasn't very easy. I found that I did need to access stuff in the bags as we were on our trip. In particular, this wind jacket, wind vest that I had on, I had to put it on and take it off various times as we'd heat up and cool down as we'd go through these microclimates. One thing that failed for me on the trip was my sleeping pad. I had an air-filled pad where you blow into it and a valve would hold the air in. Well, even though I had tested it before the trip, it developed a hole, I think, while I was packing. What I should have done, and will do in the future, is the mat came with a protective bag. I took it out in this trip and jammed it in with all my other stuff in the seat bag, and I think in the process of doing that, somehow it developed a pinhole. Unfortunately, that affected my sleep. sleep is very important on these trips. You need rest because you're going to be very tired after your ride, depending on how long it is and how much effort it takes. Other thing I learned, I brought freeze-dried meals. I'd done this in the past on camping trips, but they worked out great for this trip. They're lightweight, they tasted fine. You can get them at your local camping outfitter store. The particular one I had for breakfast didn't look great. It was biscuits and gravy, but it tasted pretty good actually. My friends had various different types of freeze-dried meals, and everyone liked what they had, especially if you're really hungry after a long ride. It might taste like a gourmet meal after something like that. I'm not sure this was anything I could have avoided, but I developed an annoying noise in my bicycle. It would be a tick every revolution of the bike, and it would only happen when the bike would warm up. It wouldn't happen in the morning when it was cold. It would take a few miles to ride before it would develop, and then it was nonstop. And I'm one of those guys that annoying ticks and clicks drive me crazy. It took me a while to figure it out, but what it turned out to be was a loose tire thread caught between the rim and the tire, and as the rim or tire would flex, it would cause friction and cause this noise. I use Continental tires. In this trip I used gator skins, and they have a reputation for having these threads that tend to come loose. It's nothing dangerous, but it can cause an issue like I had. So I'm going to be using a different type of tire. I just got some GP Grand Prix 5000s that I'm really excited about trying for a bike packing trip coming up. Here I was, you could see me reach in my back pocket and getting my phone, take a picture of stuff. You're most likely going to want to document your trip, so bring a phone, bring extra battery to recharge it, and have a way to get that phone in and out quickly so you can take pictures like this while you're riding. So all in all, I'd have to say there's not much I would change in my setup. A couple of minor things I'm going to do. The tires I'm changing. The seat bag, I'm going to try to find a way to secure it. If I'm not able to secure it better so it doesn't sway, I'm going to find some sort of rack and pannier setup, or pannier, however you want to pronounce it. So I hope this video was helpful to you. If you liked it, please hit like, subscribe, and you will be notified as soon as I have any other videos. We are planning on going on another bike packing trip pretty soon, and I'm excited. I really enjoyed this. I hope to do a lot more of these in the future. Take care. Good luck.